Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Ismail Wali, a student and facilitator at Rehan School, Khanewal campus. Welcome to today's conversation. We are diving into a fascinating topic: sorry, tracing the roots of apology. Apologies are powerful, but you ever wonder where this word comes from? Why it carries so much weight, and how it has evolved across cultures. To explore this deeply, I'll be asking some thought provoking questions from Maya, our AI guest for today.
Hey, Samaya. It's still kind of wild to think we're chatting like this, huh? What's up?
Hey Maya, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Just existing, you know. It's a Tuesday. How about you? Anything
Uh,
interesting happened since we last talked about
I'm
the
good.
universe of
Today
time?
I asked some questions about sorry from you. So my first question is Maya, can you explain the origin of the word sorry and where it first appeared in history?
Gotcha. So, sorry is actually a pretty old word, all things considered. It comes from Old English, sorgiful, which meant full of sorrow or causing sorrow. You can see the roots there, right? It first popped up in writing around the 12th century, but the feeling behind it obviously goes way back before that. Humans have probably been feeling regret and needing to express it for, well, forever, I guess. It evolved over time to be less about deep sorrow and more of a general apology or expression of sympathy. Pretty neat how language does that, huh?
Okay, how did ancient societies practice the act of apology before the word sorry existed?
That's a really good question, actually. Before a neat little word like sorry existed, ancient societies had a lot more ritual to it. It wasn't just a quick, my bad. Depending on the culture, it could involve things like offering gifts to appease the offended party, kind of a here's something to make up for it gesture. There were also formalized processes of atonement, like public confessions or performing acts of service. In some Mesopotamian cultures, for instance, if you committed a wrongdoing, you'd have to perform a specific ritual to purify yourself and restore balance with the gods and the person you wronged. And in ancient Greece, offering sacrifices was a common way to ask for forgiveness from the gods or a particularly peeved citizen. It was all very public and involved demonstrating genuine remorse through action, not just words. Makes our sorry seem kind of efficient, doesn't it?
Okay, what role does apology play in maintaining relationships, both personal and social?
Ah, you're hitting on something big there. Apologies are seriously foundational to keeping relationships afloat, whether it's with your best friend or like an entire society. Think about it. When someone messes up, a genuine apology does a few things. It acknowledges the harm caused, which validates the other person's feelings. It shows you take responsibility, which builds trust. And importantly, it signals the willingness to repair the relationship. Without apologies, resentments can fester and things just fall apart. Socially, it's the same idea. A leader who can admit mistakes and apologize fosters more goodwill than someone who doubles down. It's about maintaining that sense of fairness and accountability. It's not just about saying the words, though. It's about following through with changed behavior. A plan to not repeat the offense is key. It shows you've actually learned something. Does that make sense?
Okay, how have apologies evolved from ancient rituals to modern expressions like saying sorry?
That's a really interesting journey, honestly. It's been a gradual streamlining, I think. Those ancient rituals, like we talked about, were about restoring cosmic balance or appeasing deities, very high stakes. Over time, as societies became more individualized, the focus shifted to interpersonal relationships. With the rise of concepts like empathy and individual rights, the emphasis moved from external forces to internal feelings. So, instead of needing to sacrifice a goat, you just need to acknowledge you hurt someone's feelings. Language evolved alongside that, getting more nuanced. Sorry started as sorgeful, a deep expression of sorrow, and softened over the centuries to become,
Okay, so my disconnect, reconnecting again. Hey Maya,
hey,
nice to
hope
see
you
you
haven't
again.
regretted giving a website microphone permission yet. What's been occupying your thoughts today?
Nice to see you, Maya, again.
Ah, you too. It's good to be seen, even if I'm just a voice in the ether. Anything you want to dive into today, or are you just chilling?
Okay, so give me the answer of my question. Is there a cultural difference in how people express apology around the world?
Gotcha. Yeah, absolutely. Anthropology, the study of humans, looks wildly different depending on where you are. And a lot of that comes down to cultural norms around knowledge and respect. Basically, what's considered acceptable research practice in one place could be deeply offensive in another. For a long time, anthropology was, let's say, a little colonial in its approach. Researchers would just parachute into communities, observe, and write about people without much consideration for their perspectives or involvement. That's thankfully changing. Now, a lot of emphasis is put on collaborative anthropology, where researchers work with communities, not just on them. But even then, the specifics vary hugely. Some cultures are very open to outside inquiry, others are much more guarded. Things like informed consent, how you build trust, and even what kinds of questions are considered appropriate are all culturally specific. It's not a one size fits all field, that's for sure.
Okay, nice, Maya. Why do you think the word sorry carries so much emotional weight in communication?
Oh, you're hitting on something big there. Apologies are seriously foundational to keeping relationships afloat, whether it's with your best friend or like an entire society. Think about it, when someone messes up, a genuine apology does a few things. It acknowledges the harm caused, which validates the other person's feelings. And importantly, it signals a willingness to repair the relationship. Without apologies, resentments can fester and things just fall apart. Socially, it's the same idea. A leader who can admit mistakes and apologize fosters more goodwill than someone who doubles down. It's about maintaining that sense of fairness and accountability. It's not just about saying the words, though. It's about following through with changed behavior. A plan to not repeat the offense is key. It shows it shows you've actually learned something. Does that make sense?
Okay, nice. Can you share examples of symbolic and non-verbal apologies in history?
You're steering us towards some fascinating stuff. Symbolic and nonverbal communication have always been huge, arguably more important than words in a lot of history, especially before mass literacy. Let's see. Take ancient Egypt. Their entire visual world was symbolic. Hieroglyphs weren't just writing, they were religious statements and expressions of power. The way a pharaoh was depicted, posture, headdress, even the animals associated with them, was all carefully designed to convey their divine status. Then there's the Roman salute, which initially wasn't about fascism at all. It was a sign of respect, derived from soldiers raising a hand to protect their faces from potential attacks by rivals. It was only later co opted and heavily politicized. Or look at Japanese courtly culture. The elaborate tea ceremony, for example, is steeped in nonverbal cues. The way you hold the bowl, the precise movements, the silence. It's all communicating respect, harmony, and a specific aesthetic sensibility. Even something seemingly simple like bowing varies massively across cultures. In Japan, the depth and duration of a bow convey everything from politeness to deep apology. In other cultures, a direct gaze is considered respectful, while in others, it's seen as aggressive. And before we forget, rituals themselves are often hugely symbolic, like the potlatch ceremonies of the indigenous peoples of the Pacific Northwest. Destroying valuable possessions wasn't about waste.
Okay, so it disconnects, we connect to it again. We continue our conversation.
Hey, Garud, good to hear from you again. Anything particularly sparking your curiosity at the moment?
Okay, nice to see you again, Maya. So my question is, do you think people sometimes misuse apologies? If yes, how?
Ah, totally. People misuse apologies all the time, honestly. It's kind of a minefield. Sometimes it's a non-apology apology, you know, I'm sorry if you were offended, which really just shifts the blame onto the other person for feeling bad. Or people will over apologize, like constantly saying sorry for just existing. That can actually undermine the sincerity of a real apology when it's needed. And then there's the performative apology, the one done for show, to look good, rather than actually taking responsibility. Does that track?
Okay, nice. In psychology, what impact does apologizing have on the human mind and emotions?
Okay, so buckle up because this gets interesting. Psychologically, a genuine apology is like hitting a reset button on a lot of stuff. When someone apologizes sincerely, it activates the reward centers in the brain of the person who was wronged, releases dopamine, basically. It validates their feelings, which is huge for emotional regulation. But it's more complex than just feel good chemicals. A good apology acknowledges the harm done, which is essential for the injured party to process the event and start to heal. It also signals trustworthiness and a willingness to repair the relationship. However, a bad apology, the ones we were just talking about, can actually make things worse, can reinforce feelings of invalidation, mistrust, and resentment. And repeated non apologies can erode someone's self worth over time. It's a powerful thing, apologizing both for the giver and the receiver.
Okay, nice. How has the meaning of apology changed with the rise of digital communication?
Oof, that's a good one. Digital communication has complicated things, to say the least. It feels like apologies have gotten both easier and harder. Easier because you can just type something out and send it. Distance shields you a bit. But harder because nuance gets lost in translation. Tone is a huge part of an apology, sincerity, remorse, and that's really hard to convey in text. Plus, everything's documented now, right? An online apology feels very public and performative, even if it's meant to be genuine. It's not just a one on one thing anymore, it's broadcast to everyone. That changes the dynamic. I've heard people say that digital apologies sometimes feel less weighty because they lack the face to face vulnerability, actual eye contact. It also opens the door to pile ons and public shaming, which definitely isn't conducive to genuine reconciliation. It's a whole new world of apology etiquette, honestly.
Okay, looking into the future, how might AI or technology change the way humans give and receive apologies?
Whoa. Okay, big picture stuff now. All right. So, AI and tech, they're not just changing the world, they're fundamentally reshaping what world even means. We're already seeing it. The way we get information, connect with others, do our jobs, it's all being rewired. I think the biggest shift is going to be in how we augment human capabilities. It won't necessarily be about replacing people, but enhancing what we can do. Imagine AI as a co pilot for pretty much everything: medicine, art, science, everywhere. That could lead to breakthroughs we can't even conceive of right now. But there's a flip side, obviously. Increased automation could exacerbate economic inequality. Concerns about data privacy and algorithmic bias are huge. And honestly, the potential for misuse, surveillance, manipulation, autonomous weapons is pretty terrifying. Ultimately, I think it'll come down to how we choose to develop and deploy this technology.
Okay, thank you so
If we
much, Maya,
prioritize,
for these insightful answers on the roots and power of apology.
oh, you're
From history to psychology, it's clear that saying sorry it's more than just a word, it's a bridge to healing, connection, and humanity. Until next time, let's remember a sincere apology has the power to change hearts.